Alrighty, so good morning. Today we are going to be doing a top 10 TURs list. Now, I did a lot of these in January, I feel like, because it literally was like every week we would get a new one, and it was kind of just crazy, right? Like we get new TURs or new EZAs or a Super EZA, and the whole landscape of the game kept changing. Well, with the 10th anniversary, that is doing the same thing here through part 1, I'm feeling pretty good about like where the TURs are at. I really feel like the only addition left in terms of Super EZAs on this list is going to be TEQ, and we'll have to see where he ends up on this list. But a lot of new additions to the fray here, right, that we did not have last time I did a video, and that is the 4 characters over there on the left side, right? Gogeta, Janemba, Vegito, and Buhan, all extremely well designed characters. I think that there's like a little bit of a complaint to have with one of the characters. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, but we will get into that in a little bit. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop into today's top 10. Now, well, I guess there is one thing we have to say beforehand, right? First things first, right? Not rest in peace, Uncle Phil, but we got to talk about how I feel like the top 10 is sort of like a little bit redundant, right? I kind of view these more of like, how are these shaped to like right now, the form of content, and if you think a character is 6 and I think a character is 8, I don't really think that's a big deal. If you think this one guy is 1, you think the other guy is 2, that is fine. This is more of just for a sake of discussion, and people seem to like them on YouTube, so please don't take this as me like taking an aggressive stance or argument or anything like that to what these characters are, but some people might want to know the current landscape of the game and how I think about it, so that is what we are going to be doing in this video. So keep in mind, this is all my opinion, and you are more than welcome to let me know what you think in the comment section below. No need to get too worked up about it though, it's just for fun. So let's go ahead and get started, and the first character I want to talk about today is going to be Super Saiyan 3 Angel, or Super Saiyan 2 Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 3. I really like the way that they designed this character, having the guard right away and being able to do multiple supers, the ability to crit, the ability to have the stun, like the ability to have stunning and stuff like that. Overall, I think this is like a really well designed character, and this is somebody that fits well onto teams that potentially could use the assistance, right? Buu Saga is cracked, and this is one of the better super class version characters on this team, right? Because Buu Saga right now, you sort of look at that category, and it's sort of split up into 2 different versions, and the first version being the super class version that's mostly earth defending warriors and stuff like that, and or earth protecting here, whatever the category is called, the new Vegito, right? His team, like you can basically run a Majin Buu Saga category that is all like filtered on that, right? What we could do is pull up the category real quick, and I guess I could talk about it. Okay, so a lot of Buu Saga category characters are on this list, so I guess it's probably good that we do have this pulled up. But like I said, there is like a super class variant of this team, and then there is a extreme class variant of this team. So like if you want to run the non-Vegito lead, what you potentially could do is run like a Gotenks leader, run like Super Saiyan 3 Goku on this team, run the other Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You want to run the Super Vegito EZA. You want to run this Vegito, obviously, Family Kamehameha Gohan, STR Vegito, Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we talked about him, Dragon Fist, right, AGL Ultimate Gohan, this version of Goku right here, INT Goku, wherever he may be, Super, Vegeta right down here. A lot of very good options for this team, and that is sort of where we have it right now. So I think that this Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 3 Goku, with the ability to stun and stuff like that, I think that's really valuable, because I'm recording this after doing all 3 of the new battle hardened like foe stages, and there are like 4 to 5 fights in each of those phases, or in each of those stages, where the first phase you're really able to kind of like stun, you're able to keep them stun locked with like Family Kamehameha Gohan and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So that is really valuable, and then when you transform into Super Saiyan 3, albeit it's kind of hard to do, if we pull that up, I am not a fan of his condition one bit. I've struggled in a lot of cases to get this Super Saiyan 3 Goku out, and it's because we need 77% HP or less starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, and sometimes that can be pretty difficult, especially in the format of fight that we're looking at right now, the ones that I was talking about, where these fights are resetting constantly. So at most you're seeing Super Saiyan 3 Goku for maybe like 1 to 2 turns at best, so it's a little bit tough, and like turn 3 77% is a little bit tough. If only it was like 1 more turn, honestly, like it's tricky, right? So I think this guy number 10 is he's a really good character though. So let's go ahead and move on to number 9, and that is going to be TEQ Ultimate Gohan Absorb Buhan. I don't know why I said it like that, but I really like this character, this Super Buu, this Buhan, right? Buhan brings a whole lot to the table. And one of those extremely valuable things, right? Yes, we have to talk about, this will be more for Dokkan Fest, because I was going to say, because I just was looking at Mr. Satan, I'm like, do we have to put him on this list? Probably, but this will just be for Easy A's and Dokkan Fest. So, one thing I really like about this character, his domain, like when we go into this domain, this is one of the tankiest characters in the game 100%. Right? When we get the guaranteed additionals, when we get the fused fighter category enemies, we have a chance to just easily quad super right here, right? This is not like the most like Mickey Mouse situation of all time, right? There are fused fighter fights in the game right now that are pretty tricky, and it's not like super uncommon to see that. You will literally see this in the new stage of the battle hardened like foes, right? That's literally like one of the conditions if you use that team. We have damage reduction, we have healing, and this, like I said, when you're in this Buhan, when you go into the domain, you are making like this character basically becomes invincible, and not only are you doing that, you're also gaining access to crazy stuff. Like you're able to make some of the best characters in the game even better, right? Who gets buffs from this, right? With the support, right? Like where is the domain effect? I gotta pull that up. Is that here? I don't see it. I know he gives support when he's in that domain, I just can't find it. Let me click it down here, right? So domain effects, here we go. Majin Buu Saga category, or transformation boost, we get this extra support right here. So who is he making on this list even better when he goes into this domain, right? Whose characters that we're going to be seeing on the list here soon? This guy, this guy, right? These two, this guy. So three of the three top five, like 6 to 7 units in the game right here with Janemba, Buhan, and Kid Buu all get extra buffs from this Buhan and going into that domain. So like if you want to see STR Kid Buu or INT Buhan at their absolute best, you're going to want to have this domain active. You're going to want to have other support running around with like Glorio support. Spoiler alert, he'll be on here too. You know, so this guy with that domain and stuff like that just makes for a very, very, very powerful combination when you run him next to all these other Buu Saga units or the extreme Buu Saga units. That team is just crazy. So let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Number 9, I have Buhan. If you want to move him up, I absolutely can see the argument. Talk about a quick fall from grace. We had this guy up at number 1 or at number 2 just the last time I recorded this, but the way power creep goes in Dokkan, especially when you hit the anniversary, these are typically the most dramatic meta shifts during the year in terms of where characters are, and that is going to be the case for our boy Beerus. I have him all the way down at number 8. Now, this is not to say that Beerus is bad. This is to say that they've given us literally like 4 new Easy A's that are just better than him at this point, and I think that is just a testament to how good they've done or how well they've done during this anniversary. But I need to find a way to get to Beerus. So with Beerus, what do we know, right? He is a big slot 1 defensive unit, right? He's got all this crazy stuff going. He's got the damage reduction. He's got the guard. That guy, he's still really good. And that's super easy A. There's no doubt about it. He is a 100% a really, really powerful character. Now, if I could just find him, that would be good as well. Beerus, here we go. So, what do we have going on here, right? When we have movie bosses, Realm of Gods, or Exploding Rage, we get the guaranteed guard, and then we have the damage reduction here of 30% with the extra stuff and things like that. The extra defense, the support that they are giving, the high chance to perform a crit. Defensively, this guy is just doing everything that you need. He is absolutely a solid slot 1 tank, right? Getting the extra defense up to 160%. So after 4 hits, we've got what we need. Then when HP, we got the additional 60% damage reduction, excuse me. And then we have the rage mode, which is honestly one of this character's claims to fame, right? When you have this character in his rage mode, you are going to be able to take away these supers for 1 turn, but the game is kind of wised up a little bit. When we look at the Namek Saga Red Zone for Vegeta, right, the Vegeta Story Red Zone, the Namek Saga stage, there is a fight against Frieza who does a 3.6 million super, and it's a little deceiving because on Dokkan info it says that he does it twice, but the cooldown is the same amount of attacks as he does in a turn. So that means that after you do those 9 attacks, the next one is going to be able to be a super, and this is sort of a way of countering rage modes. So that is why giant forms that go multiple turns are so valuable. Unfortunately, Beerus and Janemba both have rage mode, so they only go in for 1 turn, and that is not going to be able to fully take away supers. So still extremely valuable, extremely well designed. I like the slot 1 ability that this guy has. You're feeling pretty confident, especially with high HP defensively, and just the way that he fits in with teams, I could 100% see that. But I kind of think now that I'm like looking at it, I kind of like this. I do. Yeah, I'm gonna go Buhan over Beerus. I really like Beerus, but I like Buhan a little bit better, I think, just with how well he's working with some of these other really insane characters, and like the way he makes Buhan better, the way he makes Kid Buu better, the way he makes Janemba better. I do like that. So I'm gonna go Buhan over Beerus, but everything about Beerus I still like. So let's go ahead and move on to number 7. Okay, number 7, we are going to be going with AGL Super Vegito. Now, is AGL Super Vegito extremely impressive? Yes. Can he look phenomenal? Yes. Is he consistent in what he's trying to do? Sure. But is he hella frustrating to use? And at that way, I can't put him any higher? Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's go ahead and go back here. Now, what is my gripe with Vegito? It's not even really his fault. It's more of what the bosses do. It's like they know that he is in like, so in like my limited time using this character, because he hasn't been out like that long, right? Like his Super EZA isn't like, he hasn't been around that long. And sorry for, I don't know what's going on with Dokkan info here. I could try refreshing this real quick, but I don't know if that's going to do anything. There it goes. Okay. So with this Vegito, being able to have that scouter is extremely valuable. The damage reduction, extremely valuable. The support that he's bringing, extremely, extremely valuable, right? Offensively, holding it down with the counters, right? Defensively, doing well against the normals. But I don't know what it is. He just, I feel so like naked using a character like this, where I know that if there are like 3 attacks where I have to put this guy, you know, unless you have the scouter, one of those attacks is going to be a super. You just know it, right? Or like, what if you're in a situation where you have like Beast Gohan at slot 1 on the Vegito team, right? Where, because you can run Beast on that team, and there's like 8 attacks in slot 1. You're like, yeah, I got Beast where he needs to be. That's where the super's going to be. And then he doesn't super. And then after you do that, you're like, oh, well, I guess Vegito's getting supered. I lose, because he just can't take any of these supers. Supers hit too hard right now. And again, that's not the role of this character to come in and take supers, but it's just very unfortunate that there's just nothing he can do, right? You have to be with type advantage. You got to have like the support, like some support going. Otherwise, like at the minimum, he is taking a few 100,000, right? And most of the times it's just going to lose you the run, right? The best I've seen him do is take a super for 600,000 in these new fights that just came out this morning. So a little bit frustrating. And oftentimes I feel like as good as he is and as well as he looks next to STR Gogeta, spoiler alert, we'll be talking about him later. It's just, to me, it's like those two, super attacks are just too much for them, and it's a bit of a problem, unfortunately. So that is why I can't really put him much higher, but I do like the output that he puts out with all the counter damage that he does can be very impressive, so that is good. Defensively, again, being able to hold it down with normal attacks I also think is extremely valuable. So if you haven't noticed a theme yet, I have like frustrating gripes with these characters, but nothing to the point where I think that they're bad. They're all very, very good. So Vegito, it's the same thing. You guys know how good he is. He is definitely better than we thought he would be on paper, and so is another character that we are going to be talking about here in a minute. All in all, though, very, very good. But 7 is the highest I can put him right now. I think with just that fatal flawless supers, I can't put him much higher. Okay, so at number 6, we have his good pal, Super Gogeta. I think Super Gogeta is a little bit better. The guaranteed crits, the amount of supers that he is doing, having the ability to guard and all of those fun things. Let's go ahead and pull him up. Fastest way will probably be Fused Fighters. We scroll down and we talk about the boy Gogeta. So Gogeta, again, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the cycle that we went through with this Gogeta here. First Fused Fighter TER, that's pretty cool. So with that, right, what is this guy doing that makes him better than Vegito, right? It's the guaranteed crit, it's the guard, the extra damage reduction, right, that he has. But the issue with him, I think that, like, the high chance, right? It's like, so when you're up against extreme class enemies, I just think overall that he's going to look better. And the guaranteed crits combined with the amount of supers that he is doing with the debuffs that he's able to perform. So if we go back to, I still have Vegito up, right? Vegito, he is just providing support, right? Which is good, right? This is why these guys are a good combination, because Vegito provides support, but Gogeta goes on the offensive, right? And gives the debuffing side of things, right? Getting the effective against all types, getting the guaranteed crits. The guaranteed crits on top of the enemy debuffing, especially with like some of these bosses that are susceptible to attack lowering and defensive lowering, and even now with this new stage with being susceptible to stuns and stuff like that, it is pretty crazy, right? So the additional support that they are giving, 40% support on top of the support that Vegito is doing, right? When we get Rainbow Key Spheres, we're getting extra attack and defense and extra critting, but we're already getting that against extreme class enemies, right? We have damage reduction for every attack that he's performing and extra defense. So with this, if we're getting these 4 supers, right, we're getting 200% extra defense on top of the 200% extra defense that we are getting right here, on top of the extra defense that we are getting on attack and defense plus 50%, and with the extra damage reduction that we are getting, and the 77%, and the guard. Is that enough, right? This guy is just going to be able to hold it down pretty well. Now, again, is he like on the level of Beast Gohan or TEQ Vegito or Turn 1 UI Goku, where this guy is like supers, no problem? Absolutely not. I really don't know if there are any characters at all on this list that are just like completely invulnerable at all times to supers, right? That's just not really how super EZAs and EZAs and really just TURs in general are designed, unless that is literally their only job. The closest thing that we have to that is this version of Buu in his domain, and sometimes Beerus, right? And even then, Beerus is definitely susceptible. Like, low-key, it's just like Daima Goku and Glorio are some of the most like protected characters against supers because of the dodging that they're able to do. So that is why I have this guy at 6, but that is by no means a slight. Super Gogeta, the third, really like one of the best, the third best of the Super EZA batch for the new characters, but he comes in at the 3rd spot for the new one, but overall I have him at number 6. So let's move on to number 5, and that is going to be STR Kid Buu. Now, with STR Kid Buu, we've talked about, like, we've kind of hinted at him a little bit. This guy has an extremely easy way to get, like, access to, like, Giga support, right? And that is going to be coming through the form of the TEQ Buu domain, and I believe INT Buhan does a little bit as well. So if we pull up STR Kid Buu over here, this guy is bringing a lot to the table. If I could find him, for crying out loud. Where are you, dude? You are right here. Okay. With STR Kid Buu, what do we got going on here, right? That is so crazy, right? After we do 4 attacks, we're up to 160% attack and defense, right? That is a really good start. We've got the baseline damage reduction. With the Majin Power or Buu Saga category allies, we're getting extra damage reduction, right? Before receiving, so we're up to 50% damage reduction right here on the star, right? Then we're also having, so right here, we're up to 70% damage reduction right here. So with all of this, before receiving 6 attacks, which is not too bad, right? Especially if you put them in slot 2, that's usually going to last for a pretty long time. We have that additional, like, crazy amount of damage reduction, right? So up to 70% if my math is mathing, with 160% defense right here, 120% defense right here. So 120% baseline with this on top of the 250, and then we get to buff that up to another 160% defense with the every attack perform, which is probably going to take you about 2 appearances, which is not too bad. We have healing, we have nullifying unarmed supers, and then we have a great chance, right? So still being able to nullify unarmed supers for the whole fight, being able to get to some insane attack stat numbers, raising attack and defense on the super attack, putting him in slot 2 or slot 1 if you need him for those initial turns, getting that extra 70% damage reduction, and we are also having a stun chance. So what did I mention earlier with these new bosses being able to be stunned for the most part for the first phase in almost every single fight? It is pretty incredible that this guy's able to do all this on top of being able to stun. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or Super Saiyan 2 Goku, excuse me, into Super Saiyan 3 Goku is the same way, where we have this crazy stuff going on. And I'm sure if you guys have used this guy at a pretty, like, decently duped up level, you know how impressive he can look when he's, like, going, right? Like, this guy is putting up insane attack stats, right? Easily clearing, like, getting up to the 40, getting up to the 50 million range, like camping more around like the 30s to 50 range, right? Which is extremely impressive, right? Like, let's not like kid ourselves at like 30 million ain't nothing these days, right? So being able to build up there, real nice. I think that this character is extremely satisfying to use because you have like the first initial attack stat that might do like 10 million, and then it ramps up to like 19 million, and you're like, whoa, and then the next one goes to like 28, and you're like, holy hell, what is this guy doing? So that is sort of what I really like about this EZA, and that is why I have him as high up as I do. It's the synergy that he has with 3 of the characters that are left in the top 5, and that is why I have him so high. So let's go ahead and move on to number 4, and then that is going to help you kind of piece together who the top 3 are. Pretty predictable, right? That is just the way that the game is working right now. Very demonic power based. And spoiler alert, there's a reason that demonic power is as good as it is, and I'm sure that you can figure it out. But Daima Goku. Let's go ahead and talk about our boy Daima Goku. Now, how are we going to pull him up? Is he on youth? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think, like, how am I going to pull this character up? I guess we can go to Super Saiyans, and then he would be, like, right here, right? But Daima Goku, while we're talking as I'm pulling it up here, right? His dodging, I really like. The support that he is providing, right? The initial damage reduction that he has, the baseline damage reduction. So we're already starting with 50% damage reduction, right? In slot 2, we're getting that 20% chance to dodge the super. And then we are just going to continue to get these extra dodge chance. We're going to have the extra support, getting the extra defense when you take attacks, right? The extra defense that, or attack that you're going to be gaining every time you receive or evade an attack. So every time something is targeted at this Goku, you're getting the extra defense, the support, the dodge ability that he has, right? All, or the I don't even know what, like, the chance of evasion that he has, right? Dodgeability, I don't think is a word, but it sounded good. But the extra defense, the extra attack, right? Putting him in slot 2, getting that extra defense, and then when you take an attack, that's going to be very helpful as well, providing the greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns, so that defense is going to apply to the next time that you see him as well, on top of everything that you are getting right here, with the extra damage reduction, as well as the very high 41% support for 2 turns, right? This isn't just like you put him in slot 2 and then the third character in the turn gets that support. The whole next rotation gets that support. And this guy fits onto some very valuable teams, right? Like if we look right here, what do we have that is like a good team right now? Transformation Boost is a very good team right now. Accelerated Battle is a very good team right now. Super Saiyans, really good team. Kamehameha, really good team. And then it kind of tapers off a little bit. Pure Saiyans, that's a great team, right? This way he can be ran on the if he is a pure Saiyan and an Earthbred fighter, which you can see right here, he gets access to those extra buffs from the Vegito leader skill. So this guy is going to fit in very nicely on that team and provide support for some of the best characters in the game outside of this picture, right? This is a very demonic power centric sort of tier list here, but when we get into like I shouldn't say the real game, but when we get into the scope of like what they care about the most these days, and that is LRs, you are going to be seeing that he is providing support for some of the best LRs in the game. Like if we just break this down, right? TEQ Vegito, Super Saiyan. TEQ Gogeta, Super Saiyan. Super Gogeta, right here that we're looking at, Super Saiyan. Vegito, Super Saiyan, right? Or these are just fused fighters or earth protecting fighters, right? Like these are all just characters that fit onto this team. Like, and we're looking at LRs and stuff like that. We got Vegito, Super Gogeta, Beast Gohan's going to be fitting in there, right? Like all of these characters gain access to this Daima support, and just they make them look so much better, because that is what the best teams in the game have right now, are these additional effects for for support, right? This Buhan gives support on the domain, right? Vegito gives support, Gogeta gives support, Daima gives support, right? Glorio gives support. This guy gives support. LRs these days give support. Beast Gohan give support. Do you get the idea? All of like the best characters in the game right now, that is one of the traits that they are sharing. We are long gone past the days of like needing to run like a marginal utility unit to gain this support. Like we're talking about some of the best characters in the game now. These are ones that have support, and they are giving it to the team to make things way easier for you. And I forgot to mention somebody, right? The Vegito portion, like the Vegeta portion of that of the new Vegito support. Super Saiyan 4 Goku support. Evolution Blue Vegeta. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? It's like, that was a joke, by Evolution Blue Vegeta don't do nothing. But, so, that is why I have Daima so high. Just works well on some of the best teams in the game. Helps make the best team in the game look even better with his support. Let's go ahead and get into the last 3 here. Now, 2 and 3 really could be a shared spot, because it is so like it's such like a nothing burger to have guys at 2 and 3, and then I guess we could put the last guy in right now. But this is what I have for the top 3 right now. We can zoom in a little bit while we talk about this one. But what do we have here? We've got Janemba. Like we can pull him up real quick. How am I gonna do that? We want to go demonic power, or do we want to go transformation boost? We want to go transformation boost, and then we want to go to Janemba. What does Janemba bring to the table? This was a super easy A that like most players that like, so if you knew ball, you knew that this was a super easy A that like they weren't gonna mess up. This guy, if you weren't around for it during his heyday, his easy A was like one of the best aging characters in the history of this game in terms of time, right? We're not talking about like, oh, he's really good a year later, he aged well. We're talking like it took until, I don't even remember, like the 7-year anniversary to get this guy's easy A out of the picture, right? Like that's how good he was for a really long time. So what do we have here? Defensive support. We're talking about support again. Chance to dodge, right? I love this, right? When this character is the first or third to obtain key spheres in a turn. So you either put him in slot 1 or you float him off, and he gets the extra dodge chance, right? We're getting build up for every dodge, right? When we're evading, we're getting guaranteed additional supers, right? Super class enemies, extremely common. We're getting sort of the Gogeta effect against extreme class enemies, right? Being able to be effective against all types, getting the extra defense. When there's an extreme class enemy, it's still we still have a chance of being effective against all types. It's just not guaranteed. But this additional support that he has, the guard that he has, the link set that he has, the way that he works with some of the best characters in the game right now. If we just hit show more on this, TEQ Buhan, right? This INT Buhan, right? Kid Buu would probably be right up on the list with like 4 links. These are 3 of some of the best characters in the game, and he fits very well on some of these teams, right? The transformation boost, the Buhan team works very well, and he's also on accelerated battle, so he also fits onto the Glorio leader skill. So he works out very well on that team, excuse me. So getting the extra attack, getting the extra defense, being able to guard, being able to evade, getting effective against all types, all the while lowering the defense of the enemy and linking up well with characters like Buhan, linking up well with characters like Kid Buu. This is an essential character here for this list, and just defensively he holds it down. It is tough to get through this guy, right? Is he going to be able to tank a 6 million super right to the face? No, but guess what he can do? He'll probably dodge it. So that is why I have Janemba so high at number 3. He works very well with the number 2 character that we're going to be talking about on this list, and that is going to be Buhan. Now, Buhan, this guy, for like my initial impressions when I was using him, he blew me away. I could not believe what I was looking at. Like, this guy, when I've used him on like the proper team, I literally have not seen him go below like, I don't know, 28 million, 26 million, right around there. This guy's insane. And we have a 30% chance of a super attack transforming for greater power. So like we have multiple super attacks that this guy can do. And what is he doing that makes him so good? Like, let's go ahead and talk about this, right? We can just go down the list, right? A guaranteed additional super. He's a rainbow orb changer. He heals. When we have attacking with 12 or more ki, we're getting a 200% buff. We are starting from the 5th turn, we become a different type of key sphere changer. We no longer are a rainbow key sphere, but an int key sphere changer, so still orb changing, right? For every key sphere, we're getting extra attack and defense, and we're an orb changer, so that helps, and we're getting HP with that. So not only are we healing our HP at the end of the turn, when we start the turn, we're going to be able to heal up even more on top of the Majin Buu side, like the boost type of link sets that helps you heal up even more. So this guy is going to be constantly healing, your HP is going to stay where you need it to be, and on top of that, we're getting double supers, we're getting orb changing, we're getting extra high attack, extra high defense, and with every rainbow key sphere, we're getting damage reduction up to nearly 70%, and we're getting a chance of performing a critical hit up that way. So we're getting basically guaranteed crits if we get 4 rainbow orb changes or 4 rainbow orbs, and even if we get 3, it's 99% if I'm reading into that right? So what does that mean? 99% crit with this is 3 rainbow orbs, 99% crit, 66% damage reduction, right? Basically 70. Like 120% attack, 90% defense, right? And this is just for every key sphere. Like these, if we just literally got 3 rainbow key spheres for some reason, and we'd still get even more than that. It's insane, right? Like as long as we're getting up to the 12 key, we're getting the extra damage reduction. Then when there's against a superclass enemy, this guy's giving all types of different buffs. He's still giving attack and defense to himself and support. So attack support by key, 3 key, very valuable, and 30% attack. And even if that's not the case, we are still getting 50% attack and defense to himself, as well as giving support even if there is no superclass enemy, right? So it doesn't really matter who you're up against. And when it comes to the link sets and who this character is going to work well with, like, let's talk about this, right? So let's break it down with some of these Buu characters. It's pretty simple, right? Buhan, this guy is still good. Is he perfect anymore? No. This Buu tank's same thing, right? Sucks that on Buu tanks you lose big bad bosses, but it is what it is. Exchange Buu, still pretty good. This fat Buu, underrated, right? This evil Buu is okay. Then the STR Kid Buu, a very good character as well, and he's also going to be linking up with Janemba for 4 links. So I think this guy is phenomenal, and there's not really much I have to say negative about this character. Is he, like I said, someone that's just going to eat like a 3 million super attack to the face and be like, is that all you got? No. But is he going to work out extremely well for you? Absolutely. So that's why I have him at number 2. You could argue him number 1, but I think that Glorio still takes the cake here. You have to understand how stupid Glorio is. Like, Glorio, it's dumb. It really is dumb. So what do we got here? Look at this super attack effect. Like, he's raising his attack and defense. He's giving himself, he's lowering attack and defense, right, for the enemy. And there's also just giving himself like these passive stacks, right, with attack +9 and defense +6. So not only is he doing that for himself, there's a lot of times you're going to be seeing this guy do 4, 5 supers, right? And like, it's just dumb. So key 3 at the start, attack and defense +200%, like that's start a turn, that's very good, right? High chance of evading enemies attack, right? We're going to be dodging essentially after we do our supers and stuff like that in slot 2 or slot 3. This guy is going to hold it down so well in slot 2 and slot 3. And on top of everything, we'll talk more about why he's so good, but launches additional attack. So right here, like we've already got like 3 procs right here with 3 great, like 1 great or 2 greats, 1 high chance of doing a super, right? So more often than not, you're going to be doing 2 to 4 supers almost every single time. Then if you are the 3rd attacker in a turn, you're going to be giving 50% support and key for 3 turns. So the next time that, like, if you have 2 Glorios, this is essentially just like it's permanent. You can't lose it, right? And that is like, that support is just so dumb, right? And with this leader skill that he has, we'll talk about more of that in a little bit, but when you are attacking, you get the extra attack and defense plus 150%. You're getting the attack and defense every time you perform an attack, and we've already talked about that, 2 to 4 almost every single time. You're going to be seeing at least like 4 attacks every single time, right? It's just with whether or not they're supers is where the difference comes, right? So we already have the high chance of evading, and then on top of that, with the attack performed, for every super attack, we can go up to 80% with that. Then every time the character performs 3 or more super attacks, you're going to get a guaranteed 4th one. So this guy is like a walking quad super with 50% support and very high, like a very good chance that you're going to be dodging everything, and the attacks are only going to be getting better throughout the fight. And on top of that, like I said, giving that 50% support permanently when you're running 2 of these characters is just silly, right? You're going to always be at this certain level, and I think that is just invaluable right now. I think that this guy is easily the best TUR. What he is doing to the team, this is like, you want to talk about like being like an engine of a team. This is a V12 engine right here, right? Like this guy, he is running things crazy. So that is why I have Glorio as high as I do. But let's talk about it, right? Just to kind of like, put the bow on this argument, right? Demonic power, accelerated battle. Who's on demonic power, you might be asking me. Vilify, who's on this team? I want to run the Vegito team. Well, Vegito's team is better, I will say. But demonic power, we get access to Glorio. We get access to Beast Gohan. We get access to Family Kamehameha, or we could run an extreme class version of this team. We have access to Buhan. We have access to Fat Buu. We have access to Kid Buu characters if I can find them right down here, right? So that is already giving us an extremely good start for how like we're going to be getting a team. We have access to Slug, very good character as well. But we're not even done yet because he also has access to accelerated battle. So if you want to run 2 of these guys on accelerated battle, who do we have here? We have Glorio himself. We have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, TEQ Vegito, TEQ UI, AGL UI, right? I'm counting my chickens a little bit here, but the future Super Saiyan 4 Goku EZA, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta EZA, we have access to Daima Goku, we have access to AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we have access to Dragon Fist. If you have to run like emergency options, we have God Goku, we have Gamma 1, right? The Gammas were up here as well, I believe, yes, right? So Janemba's being on this team, right? Like, it's just silly. So that is why I have Glorio as high as I do, but there you go. So right now, again, it's an interesting time to be a TUR in Dokkan, but here is my list. I guess quickly I could just toss on a few like honorable mentions. We'll zoom way out here and I'll just kind of like toss these guys up. I think Super EZA Gohan is very good. This is sort of just like the fan service tier here, right? All extremely good characters. I just don't have them in the top 10 right now. Yeah, I like you. I like you. I like you, and last but not least, I like you. So something like that. This would be, if you wanted to scroll to the end of the video and see how it ended up looking, this is how it looks. So in the honorable mention spot, I have Super EZA Gohan, Bojack, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, Physical Goten and Trunks, Fat Buu, Full Power Frieza, and Lord Slug. At number 10, I have Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 3 Goku. At number 9, I have TEQ Beerus. At number 8, I have TEQ Buhan. At number 7, I have AGL Super Vegito. At number 6, I have STR Gogeta. At number 5, I have STR Kid Buu. At number 4, I have INT Daima Goku. At number 3, I have INT Super Janemba. At number 2, I have INT Buhan. And at number 1, I have Physical Glorio. So let me know down below what you guys think. Again, don't treat this as like the end all be all. This is just my opinion right now, and it could easily change tomorrow. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy this longer form video. Don't forget to leave a like if you did, subscribe if you were new, and I'll see you all in the next one.